And we're check. Welcome. Good morning. Hello. You can all hear me? You can all see me? Hello. My name is Chris, and my pronouns are he, him, and I welcome you to our gathering this morning. Welcome to SSUC. You are welcome in this circle no matter where you happen to be, here in this room, online, at home, no matter who you are, no matter how your week has been, no matter whether you've been here many times or this is your first or your first few. Welcome to this place. A place to wonder, we hope, a place to question, to express gratitude, to express grief, our joy, our frustration, our hope, our fears in living. This is a place for who we really are, our honest selves, and everything in between. So we hope you're welcome. This is a place to be together in community. So welcome to each and every one of you.
I'm Claire Woodbury, and my pronouns are he and him. We are Southminster Steiner, united in community. Spiritual seekers, united in community. We're spiritual seekers, concerned with those, with getting to know and love ourselves more deeply, getting to know those around us, with concern for their well-being, and getting to know the wonders of this amazing world and universe in which we live, and the energy behind it we describe as love. And we are united in community, which implies we are willing to accept and open our hearts to every human being, no matter how unique or special they may be, who comes into relationship with us here at SSUC, whether physically present or whether with us online, or just someone whose lives we touch as we reach out into the community. Please join me in renewing this affirmation. We welcome and affirm all sizes, all ages, all colors, all cultures, all abilities, all genders, all sexualities, all learning styles and neurotypes, all religions or none, all people.
We are joined together in a bond.
we light a community candle this morning, as we do each Sunday when we're together. And we invite those who are online to light a candle too, because you're all part of who we are. The candle that shines a light, reminding us that each one of us has a light burning inside them that we need to let shine brightly.
And as a way of acknowledging the land this morning, we understand that we live in a time and we live in a place, and things happen in that time and in that place. And so as a way of honoring our land today, we're going to honor the ways that chiefs of Treaty 6, 7, and 8, as well as chiefs from many Alberta First Nations, spoke this week about the land within these regions. In the shadow of fringe groups claiming that Alberta would be better to secede from Canada, Indigenous leadership were united in saying, quote, "The Treaty 6, 7, and 8 lands are the subject of 19th century legal deals made with the Crown and take precedence over any provincial claims to territory. These treaties were signed when Alberta had yet to become a province, so the legislature, in our opinion, has no power over them. If the First Nations want to remain in Canada, no other provincial power can override them. In other words, Alberta does not have jurisdiction over our lands, says Treaty 8 First Nations Chief Trevor McCready. They must be respected. The land and its resources belong to the First Nations people. And, quote, we signed a treaty to share them with you, said Alan Adam, Chief of the Athabasca Chippewan First Nation. Our journey to reconciliation begins, continues, and ends with hearing the truth and legacy of our history and the respect of the land on which we live, work, and play. Is it time already for our Time for All Ages? It is. It is. We do need our story. If anyone would like to come to the carpet for a story this morning, here is the time now.
How are you looking?
Oh, nice. Beautiful. What's her name? Yuna. Beautiful. Hello, welcome everyone. I would like to read you a story today called The Smallest Girl in the Smallest Grade. It's written by Justin Roberts and illustrated by Christian Robinson. Oh, I always do this. Hardly anyone noticed young Sally McCabe. Who knows which one Sally McCabe is? We are not sure. We just don't know. Do you have an idea? You think it's her? Yeah. Okay, let's see. Well, we don't know. She was the smallest girl in the smallest grade. Oh, we've got another hint. Come on in, come on in. You've only missed the first page. Come on in, there's lots of room. Okay, I'm backing up a page. Hardly anyone noticed young Sally McCabe. She was the smallest girl in the smallest grade. Sure, her name could be heard in the daily roll call, and she marched with her books down the same school hall, but hardly anyone noticed young Sally McCabe. I was thinking it was going to rhyme. McCabe. And they certainly didn't know, or at least didn't mention, that Sally was paying super extra special attention. Just on your bum, please, so everyone can see. Thank you. To the abandoned kite with the tangled string, to the 27 keys on the janitor's ring, to the leaves as they turned green to gold in the fall, to the time Tommy Torino was tripped in the hall. She watched as the wildflowers tipped toward the light and heard the howl of a hound dog late one night. She was there when the stray cats who normally fought conducted a meeting in the church parking lot. She saw Kevin McEwen get pushed off a slide and the oncoming tears that he wanted to hide. Darn it. And she'll never forget that parent-teacher day when Billy's much larger father suddenly dragged him away. But through all the mean words and all the cold stares, no one even noticed that Sally was there. And they certainly didn't know, or at least didn't mention, that Sally was paying super extra special attention. She'd seen how a whisper could make someone cower, like a bulldozer crushing through fields of wildflowers. And it kept piling up, this discarded debris, those beautiful kites tangled in trees. So on February 3rd, at 11:29, Sally stepped straight out of the lunchroom line. She said, "I'm tired of seeing this terrible stuff. Stop hurting each other. This is enough." Now, a few laughed out loud or didn't care that there was some girl with her hand in the air. But then something super extra special happened that day as Howard O. Henry suddenly set down his tray. Like waves rolling in one after another, first Molly rose up, then Michael's twin brother. It was Tyrone and Terrence, then Amanda and Paul, who pushed out their chairs and stretched their arms tall. From the friendly lunch lady with the dishes she carted, to that new third-grade teacher who had only recently started. Yes, everyone there, even Principal Claire, had joined little Sally with their fingers in the air. And though hound dogs were destined to howl at night, and most stray cat meetings would end up as fights, and kites would continue to get stuck in trees, they all felt for a moment like the janitor's keys, fastened together with a heavy steel ring that held all the secrets to unlock everything. As the world returned to the way that it was, Sally noticed the difference, as she usually does, when Billy paused briefly to open the door for Mrs. O'Connell and 17 more. Or when Molly scooched over to make some space on the choir riser for Ellen and Grace. These moments that often get taken for granted, a wildflower appearing that no one has planted. The swings soon resumed their rhythm and sway, and day turned to night and night turned to day. People remembered and would quite often mention that Sally had been paying super extra special attention, and how the world could transform and a change could be made by the smallest girl in the smallest grade. Now then, what did Sally notice most of all? What was going on at her school? Mm-hmm.
She noticed a lot of people were not being nice to her.
Yes, people were not being nice. Did she notice other things? Mm-hmm.
The hound dog howling.
Oh, yes.
The stray cats.
The hound dog and the stray cats, yes. And it seemed to Sally that everyone was just being kind of grumpy, mean, unkind.
Bullying.
And so Sally did this thing. She stood up and she spoke up and she said, "Enough! Stop!" And, you know, that was a very brave thing to do in front of everyone. You know, the story told us that there were some laughs and giggles, but she was brave and she did that. And then I think the most important thing that happened in this book was what happened next. Do you remember? After Sally was standing there in the lunchroom saying, "Enough, stop," what did others do?
They laugh and hold up their hands. They started standing up and putting their...
Yes, they also stood up and they put their hands up. You were just a bridge. Yes, so it doesn't matter if we think that we can be Sally in this story, or if maybe we don't think, oh, we could never do that, we could never stand up and say enough. But you know what? There were other people in this story too that knew that maybe Sally was right, that maybe they felt the same way, that there was enough unkindness, there was enough meanness, there was enough grumpiness, and enough bullying, and that it needed to stop. And so they did the next bravest thing, and they stood up, also so courageous and brave. They also stood up and said, "I agree, enough." And those people are also very important in the story. And the lunch lady, and the new teacher, and the principal, they stood up too, didn't they? All of these people in the story are important because we're all important when we see something, when we're paying extra special attention, and we know that there's a better way. So I love this story because it reminds us that we can be any of those folks, and we can also raise our voice and stand up for those who need it. And just to make things better, say, enough of this meanness. I want to do something different. And, like the story also says at the end, big differences, big changes can be made even if you're doing something really small. Thank you for this story time. I loved sharing this story with you. And I want to invite you to whatever's next for you. If it's Kids Spirit with Daisy and Ariane, if it's stories or coloring at the back or the playroom, I want to invite you there now. And we'll have a moment where we all think really good and positive and healing thoughts for Wes, who had surgery this week and who needs to be at home recovering. And so our best hearts are with Wes as they recover. Okay, have a great morning. A few moments then for sharing the life and work of this community and things that are upcoming and things we want to share. If you have something to share, please make your way to the front. And while that's happening, I'll just offer a very gracious thank you for all the ways that you support the life and work of this community, whether you drop something in the box, donate online, or have pre-authorized remittance PAR that comes out of your bank accounts. Thank you for all the ways that you help, the time that you offer, and all that we work together to build. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name's Curtis Tufts, and my pronouns would be he and him. Now, in just a couple of weeks from now, our friend Dara Smith, who's in the booth at the back there, is going to be stepping away from his role as part of the staff here at SSUC. And one of the important roles that Dara has been taking on, one of the important sort of things he's been doing as part of that role, has been coordinating the resource conversation group that meets in the library every week on Thursday evenings. So in the light of Dara's departure, I just wanted to let you know that I volunteered to take on that sort of coordinating task. And so this morning I just wanted to give you a little bit of a reminder about this group, the resource group, and an invitation to you to come and try it on if you haven't done so already. Now, I've been a part of the resource conversation group for a little more than a year now, and I've found it to be a really engaging and stimulating part of my weekly routine. We gather for just an hour or so on Thursday evenings from 6 to 7 in the library, and the topics that we dive into in our conversation are wide-ranging, I guess would be the one way to say it, or all over the map might be another good way to put it. The name of, and the conversation is always inviting, I find, and engaging and inclusive. The name of the group is Resource, which is, I guess, Chris, you must have come up with that when it started 2 or 3 years ago. Anyway, I think it's a great word to describe what happens in these gatherings. At least for me, resource, as in, say, natural resources, a source of energy, a place to refuel, a place to return to the source or the wellspring, to come back to basics. And we do that through the simple gift of open and honest conversations in a congenial and a safe setting. And because we try to, most of the time, we try to set out the topic of the conversation a week ahead of time, at least a week ahead of time, that means that the pondering and the reflection doesn't just happen in that 1 hour on Thursday evening, but it sort of, for me anyway, when I know what's coming up, the theme kind of percolates and steeps in my thinking, in my heart, all through the week, and enriches the whole week. So with that in mind, I'd just like to let you know, give you a heads up about what's coming up for this Thursday, February the 6th, and the starting place for our conversation this week is a few lines from someone you might say is like the patron saint of SSUC, Mary Oliver, the poet Mary Oliver. And these lines caught my eye quite recently. Instructions, this is part of one of her poems. Instructions for living a life. Pay attention, be astonished, and tell about it. So where are we going to go with that on Thursday? Maybe it'll be what's calling for your attention these days? Or maybe it'll be, what was the last time you were astonished? And what were you astonished about? And if you wanted to tell someone about it, who would you tell and what would you say? Or maybe if you were making your own 3 instructions for life, what would they be? So that's this Thursday. So come and join us, and maybe you'll be astonished.
Good morning. My name is Linda Monet, and my pronouns are she and her. I'd like to talk to you about something that I know all of you do. Grocery shopping. How many of you went grocery shopping this week? Show of hands. How many of you thought you spent more money this week than you did a year ago? Can help you out, and it won't even cost you any money. Buy grocery cards. We started this program in 2014 when we were renovating our kitchen, and it would be a good way to help. And so it offset the cost. And because it funds programs and people here at the church, we have continued it. Our best year was 2017 when we realized $8,000 in profit for our programs. Last year, $4,000. Not good enough. So over the 11 years, we have realized $1 million worth of cards have gone out of this church, and we have raised about $65,000. But we would like you to think about it. It doesn't cost you any more money to use grocery cards than it does to go and pay cash, or maybe MasterCard, you get a few points, but believe you me, they don't add up that quick. So we sell Save On, which is only good at Save On store. Sell Sobeys, which is Safeway, Sobeys, Freshco, IGAs. We sell Superstore. Superstore is good at No Frills, Extra World, and the Warehouse on 99th. So I carry all of them in my wallet because I'm never sure where I'm going to shop next. And I ask you to consider doing the same. You can pay cash, you can pay check, and you can pay by e-transfer. And we realize 6 cents from Save On and the Sobe cards, and 5 cents from Superstore. So let's make it for this next month. Use your heart and help us in our community. Thank you.
Good morning. Good morning. My name is Sandra Hildebrand. And if you are interested in a leisure reading book club, please join me in the lounge following the gathering. Bring your beverage, and we'll see you there. Thank you.
Today's wisdom reading comes from the Christian tradition, the gospel known as Luke, and it's a story that I've always known informally with a little bit of a sense of humor as the story of the 2 fools and the henpecked husband. The fool who bought oxen without examining them and bought a piece of land without ever looking at it. I feel a little sorry. I can forgive the husband. I mean, as a married man myself, I know sometimes you do need to get back to your wife. However, here's the wisdom that comes to us. One time when Jesus went for a Sabbath meal with a prominent scholar and leader, he looked around at all the usual guests, the ones with status and connections, all jockeying for a place at the table, and felt compelled to interrupt the moment to say, next time you give a banquet, don't invite only your family, your friends, and those who can repay you. Invite the people who never get invitations. The poor, unwell, the overlooked, the ones who have been told they don't belong. That's where real blessing lives. To make the point clearer, the teacher tells a host prepares a great feast and sends out invitations, but the invited guests make excuses. One says, I bought a piece of property and I need to look it over. Another says, I just bought 5 teams of oxen and I really need to check them out. And yet another says, I just got married and need to get home to my spouse. So the host sends a messenger into the streets and the alleyways saying, bring in everyone who has been left out, the ones who have been forgotten, the ones who have been pushed to the margins. And where there is still room, the host says, go further. People no one sees. Bring them home. Space for them here. This is a story from the 1st century Jesus tradition. May we find wisdom for our living.
Claire, may I ring the bowl now? It's not too late, is it? Well, when any one of us, I think, reads a book or watches a movie or a TV show, we want to be able to say, I see myself in this world. Being able to look beyond our small circles of experience and see people that look and act and show up in the world similar to us. When we do that, that helps us know that we have a place and encourages us to take our place in the world, to better know ourselves and how we relate to others. This is not a universal experience. There are many who look at our popular culture and books and TV and movies and such and cannot see themselves there. And what does that say then about how we all collectively together can take our place in the world and better know ourselves and how we relate to each other? So recognition, first and foremost, that I, being the only person I can speak for, come from a place of privilege in that regard. I see myself represented in media in ways that many people do not. Rupi Kaur portrays this so beautifully in her poem called Representation. This is her poem. Representation is vital. Otherwise, the butterfly, surrounded by a group of moths, unable to see itself, will keep trying to become the moth. To uncloset our spirituality, to learn from the liberation that comes with expanding the way we look at our own tradition, is about claiming our place in the world and knowing that we stand in a long line of world-changing ways to understand spirituality with the lens of liberation. For all kinds of groups, all kinds of people, in the hope that we all want to see ourselves in the stories. We all are in need of a bigger one, a bigger story. One that embraces us, one that represents us, one in which we see ourselves as a vital and beautiful part of this world. And then encourages us, once we can do that, it then encourages us to live in ways that honor ourselves and others and the connections between us. This, in a very short, brief way, is me trying to kind of get a handle on what it means to define the word ethics. There's something crucial we all learn from the streams of liberation and queer theology, that hospitality and justice are tied together. Hospitality and justice go hand in hand. You might think, hospitality, really? What does that have to do with whether the world is just? And it does seem strange, but hospitality, our ability to welcome, to be hosts and guests, it's not just hosts that are engaged in hospitality, it's the guests as well. That whole effort to be hosts and guests, to be engaged in hospitality, helps us understand justice and helps us to live out our values, our ethics. Again, ethics meaning how we all see ourselves in the story and what that encourages us to do and how to live. Before Pride was rainbow floats and corporate sponsorships, it was a gathering of people who had been pushed out of every respectable space: churches, families, workplaces, schools. Pride began as a place where queer and trans people could show up as themselves without apology. And in major cities around the world, queer and trans youth, and especially people of color, out of this same need, began to create, in the 60s and 70s, a house culture, to welcome the rejected and give them a home. A house was part family, part community center, part sanctuary, part school of life for those who were kept out of anywhere else. And the reason I share this little brief piece of history is because it was those kind of movements, both initial kind of pride and the parades that sprang up, and then also this house culture. It does two things. It was a radical act of hospitality, saying you belong here, your body's safe here, your story matters here. And two, it was a radical act of justice. We will not be erased, we will not be hidden, we will not be silent. Hospitality and justice. This history, when it meets our spirituality of action and ethics, has something to teach us. We ask, how should we live? What should we do? How can we respond to this world around us? There's plenty to respond to, in case you haven't noticed. The long history of justice suggests that it starts with how we see ourselves, the relationship we build between self and other, and what the lines between them even mean, if anything. In other words, what is the answer to this question? Who is us? When we speak of us, who are we talking about? When we look at the story from the Jesus tradition, we find a teacher who interrupts a dinner party to remind everyone that hospitality is not a performance. It is an ethic. Yes, it's about who gets a seat, who gets fed, who gets seen, but more than that, it's about who you are as the host. It's about how you live your life. In this story, the dinner table becomes a place where the excluded are centered. The people who never get invitations, the ones pushed to the margins, the ones carrying stories others don't want to hear, the ones pushed out of every other respectable place. They become the honored guests. The table expands. The table expands again until everyone who has been left out is brought in. I love these little stories because the Jesus of these stories wasn't afraid to be scandalous. This is a critique and a dream. A critique of how we see ourselves in relation to the other. I'm at this dinner party, others are not. And this story has something to say about that attitude. And it's a dream of how we want our communities to be, of just what a just system might look like. It's a reminder and a teaching that justice is hospitality, that love will always refuse to be exclusive, and that community belonging is not earned, but offered. It's a reminder that the measure of our ethics is not who sits at the head of the table, but who is welcomed to it. In two little quick stories in this passage, meals have become metaphors for redistributing dignity, not just food. A banquet becomes a vision of justice. Hospitality becomes a form of resistance. Elizabeth Edman, in her book Queer Virtue, writes this: To us LGBTQIA community, the whole spectrum and plethora of identities teach us that advancing our identities includes advancing the well-being of people who may not yet perceive themselves to be part of us. These are complex identities. We can relate to only the ones we experience, the ones we know well up close. But we are more than just one letter in the queer alphabet, she says. We are all more than one story. I'll just pause there in this quote to kind of unpack the first part of that, where she says, the whole spectrum and plethora of identities tells us that claiming those identities includes advancing the well-being of those who don't yet see themselves as part of that identity. So she's speaking from within the queer community and saying, you might see yourself in this alphabet list of 2S LGBTQIA whatever letter. And great if you do. But if you do, your work isn't done. What she's meaning is that the work also includes advancing the well-being of those who have yet to claim their identity. So it's saying there is no us and them. She talks of this intersectionality where all of the different facets of who we are and who others meet. And we've heard this word many times, intersectionality, where our age and our race and our socioeconomics and our privilege and our sexuality and our gender, where all of these things comprise of a complex web. And this is where she really says something interesting. Our definition of us is ever expanding. We are keenly aware that we are part of something larger. We are people who have this vision of what is possible, where life is better, more whole, more connected, for each of us and for all of us. Moving forward is dependent on our ability to see people who are on the margins, including ourselves, and weave us into the fold. This is the point. We move from helping others, quote unquote, to understanding that all the others are part of the ever-expanding us. This isn't just wordplay. This is saying, if we're talking about us and them, you better realize the thems are us. We are all us. Justice is not abstract, not an idea we admire from a distance. Justice is embodied. It's in who we are, in where we intersect with the person beside us, or across the room from us, or around the world from us, in who we make room for, in who we listen to, in who we honor with our presence and our care. Then we start thinking then about the ethics of living in solidarity, in kinship. The belief that liberation is something we build together, and it's deeply spiritual work. Because every time we widen the circle, every time we make room for someone who has been pushed aside, every time we refuse to let shame or fear dictate who belongs, we are practicing an ethic of justice. We are practicing our love in public. I think so often churches are tempted to show up and ask, what can we do for others? Who should we help? It's such a catch-22, isn't it? Like there's something noble about wanting to help others. But we are learning just how fraught that impulse is. The legacy of productive and successful social justice, we're learning again and again, often comes from us looking around and hearing the cries of those around us. We see or we hear someone in pain. Someone is in need. Someone with whom we can very easily respond. It's very easy when the person sitting next to us is in pain. We know better what to do in those situations. Maybe it's just, a hand on their shoulder, or getting them a drink of water, or helping them to lie down, or whatever it is. We are able to easily respond to that. For example, Quinn or Alex, or put in whatever name you want, are going through this thing, and we know them, so let's help them. And then, once the crisis is confronted, the question can broaden. What about those who are experiencing the same thing as Quinn or Alex? There's a need here. This person isn't alone. Can we step in and fill it? Where spirituality meets the road of real life, where love is made public into the work of justice, these are deeply relational things. And that's why we start with those whom we relate. And that's why framing it in the context of hospitality is so deeply correct. Whatever you feel compelled to address, be it climate justice or poverty or healthcare or food insecurity or housing or education or trans rights or the intersections of many of these, whatever we're compelled to be about, whatever your heart and body are going to show up to work for, let's be sure that we all go there with the still scandalous view that who we're helping is not them, but the ever-expanding us. This is really what solidarity is, right? It's not saying I'm working on your behalf. It's saying I'm one of you and we're working together. Again, Edmund's words. We have to continue queering the lines between those people over there who are on the margins and us sitting in whatever space we occupy. This kind of queering gives offense to others, especially people who want to stay safely in their privileged world. This kind of queering of the lines of who is us scandalizes. They become us and we become them, not just one person with their hand up. We all have our hands up. And if our job isn't scandalizing those lines between us and them, then it isn't doing an important part of the work of justice. The scandal itself is part of the dream. The scandal that you and me are out on the streets finding a place to sleep. The scandal is that you and me are getting kicked out of our country. The scandal is that you and me are having our rights taken away. Not them, us. The scandal is part of the dream. So when we look at the margins and we look at the needs and we say, what are we going to do? We first claim our place. We claim our place as the great and expanding us. So we allow ourselves to be together, rupturing the binary of those who are in and those who are out, those who are invited and those who aren't, those who are at the banquet and those who aren't. It's the hospitality of creating a bigger table, asking who's missing, who's overlooked, when do I feel overlooked, who's in pain, who needs to be welcomed home, how do I need to be welcomed home. Justice is not something we do for others, it's something we do for all of us. And that's the work of justice and ethics and hospitality. This is our love showing up in public. This is the work of uncloseting our spirituality, building bigger tables, making a more expansive place of spirit and belonging. I hope you'll embrace just the beauty of this word expand. It just doesn't explain our theology like we have this expansive spirituality. It describes how we show up in the world, it describes how we are hospitable, and it describes how we do justice. We want to create communities where everyone can say, I see myself, I belong, I am part of this story. I'm part of the ever-expanding us. That's not a lot of work to do, right? It's just a little thing. May it be so for each of us in so many ways. I don't know. Choir, you just keep getting better and better. That last note, oh my God. Inspiring.
I'm busy this morning.
You are busy.
Strengthening our intentions. Justice is love in public. For every system that decides who is worthy and who is not, who is welcome and who is punished aside, may justice be the shape of love. For systems that police bodies, identities, and relationships that shame or endanger queer and gender-diverse lives, we reclaim the sacredness of every body and every story
and commit ourselves to the work of liberation. For the systems that profit from poverty, that deny housing, health care, safety, and dignity, we choose solidarity over silence. May justice be the shape of our love. For the systems that uphold racism, colonialism, and white supremacy, that divide communities and deny belonging, we commit to the work of liberation. For the systems that silence survivors, that protect abusers, that confuse power with worth, we stand with those who speak truth and seek healing. May justice be the shape of our love. For the systems that isolate us from one another, that tell us change is impossible, that insist the world cannot be different, we answer with kinship, courage, and collective hope. We commit to the work of liberation. And for every place where we ourselves have been complicit, every moment we have stayed quiet, every time we have forgotten our interconnectedness, we open our hearts to begin again. May justice be the shape of our love, and may it be ever so.
Let the light of love shine through. Let the light of love shine through. May the best of who I am be the source of what I do. Let the light of love shine through. And I will share a heart of love, and I will do the work of love. This is my love. Let the light of love shine through. Let the light of love shine through. May the best of who I am be the source of what I do. Let the light of love shine through. And I will speak the words of love, and I will live a life of love. This is my vow. Let the shine through. May the best of who I am be the source of what I do. Let my light of love shine through. Let the light of love shine through.
And so as we go, may the light shine through in our lives of light, of hospitality, of justice, of this ethic of love. And may we take this light wherever it needs to go, and may it be our vow.